Hi, I'm Daniel Cousins, and this is another episode of the live vlog Desk Talk. So today I'm going to talk about inspiration and ways of keeping yourself inspired to fuel your creativity. Creative people, we're just not constantly creative. We need to be inspired. And it can be from looking in the past. It can be from a collection of things that we have gathered that constantly will inspire us. It can be from books. It can be from movies. It can be from our other hobbies. The basis of this is how it all comes together in the end. When we learn art, and this is from my first year in studying art, we were asked to create a box and fill it full of things that would inspire us to fuel our creativity. And it was helpful. Sadly, the box did not withstand the test of time for me, but I did take a lesson from that. And the lesson I took from it was how to keep that motivation. So when I go to do a personal project, one of the first things I go for is something I like to do. Recently, I did a week-long shoot of the life of a bird of paradise flower. And I've always liked flowers. I enjoy gardening. I've learned floral arranging and all that. And how I got into floral photography was my grandmother was an avid gardener. She still tries to be. And age kind of has some limitations. And we get to a point where I've known plants my entire life. I'm very familiar with them. And one of the words of advice I got when keeping yourself motivated to shoot is shoot something beautiful. And I always found flowers very beautiful, so it was a natural progression. So in college, I shot a lot of flowers. Whereas I could have an entire portfolio just strictly dedicated to this. Anyway. So, my recent project actually came as an inspiration from a mistake I made. Because the first time I shot a bird of paradise flower, there was just this one shot that I screwed up. And either I was moving the camera and hit the shutter or something. But I shoot fast enough that even motion blur is not effectively going to happen. So I was thinking, okay, well, what did I do wrong? And thought about it, okay, shoot, I screwed this photo up. I looked at it, and what happened was the softbox box I used became my background. So the stem of the flower was completely bright white illuminated, but the flower part, it's bright oranges and blues and subtle pinks and in the green just popped. And I'm like, okay, the next time I do this is what I'm doing. There'll be no white background, it's going to be black because it just looks better. And it took some took some time before that, but a couple of weeks ago I was like, okay, what am I going to do for Photo Friday? Because one of my goals this year is to do a Photo Friday submission every week. And I'm like, I want something that I'm going to guaranteedly shoot every day this week. Motivate me to come into the studio, all that, because we had this big storm warning, and I'm like, I'm not letting a winter storm win. Again, I've been closed over a week due to snowstorms, and I'm like, yeah, I'd much rather be here working at least for a few hours. So you hear that, Mother Nature and Old Man Winter? You're not winning my victory. Anyway, so I kept up with it, and it turned out really nice. And it all stemmed from something I made a mistake with. This week's video with the photo shoot with the candle and the water. Originally, the inspiration from that was just a little challenge. Like, I found just weird things that, okay, here's a challenge. And they do draw inspiration in my collection, just to name a few. One was photograph two things that don't go together. Fire and water was my go-to for this, because you can just do a lot with that. That there's no lighting required other than your candle. You need a tripod and your camera, and something to hold the water, and obviously a candle. Really simple. What I learned from that pretty simple. Use warmer water. Don't use cold. It's very cold. And water is really, really, really heavy. But that's one example. I have others on there, like photograph a day of your life. And it's an average day. Each day. So you basically have to take the camera and have it set on your nightside table. Some people get really clever on this and start off with just a black image. I was asleep, my eyes were closed, and then you get a blurry, out of focus image of your alarm clock or your iPhone, whatever yells at you to wake up. Hopefully it's not your mother. But it does help. So you progress on with this. Another one is shoot from the hip. So I'm allowed my autofocus, but I have to basically guess where I'm shooting. And it's a little bit more advanced for people, but you can get to that point. That's for more skilled photographers. I actually haven't done that one yet. I might do a video of shoot from the hip in the next couple of weeks when it's not winter. Seriously, I'm sick of winter. You may get beautiful scenery, but right now it's just frigid cold, and I don't like camera shake due to cold and suffering winter and snow and ice, and basically I don't like winter. And I'm getting off topic again. But again, seasons can inspire you, your favorite seasons, and you do notice it if you shoot for years and years and years. You're more apt to do certain things in certain seasons. Rita Leisner basically gave me a great tip on this. Is that when the great image is out there, you have to get off the couch and go take it. And if you don't get off the couch, you're not going to take it. So you do get that you have to motivate yourself out, and you have to be that person. And inspiration is a very topic. There's probably going to be another video on this or anything else, but basically have a collection. And this is where mobile devices come in great. Do you see the nice little image capturing device in your cell phone? Is great if you like to take locations. I go for walks all the time, and thing is, I can get a rough idea of what time of day something was, but I can always just snap a quick photo and say, okay, one day I'm coming back here with my camera, and just have an album full of locations. Have another album full of other people's work that inspires you. It doesn't have to be photography. It can be drawings, paintings, sculptures. Sure, they could be videos. This could be a point of inspiration. Maybe not this video specifically, but I'm sure there's other ones there that don't look half bad. Yeah, what else is there for? And it's basically just keeping a collection. The creative mind is the mind of a pack rat. We will hold on to things because they will help us. And part of this is inspiration. But there is another great way and form of inspiration. Something you're passionate about is a great drive for inspiration. But learning something new can always spark passion and help you get inspired to do something. So I'm a firm believer in lifelong learning. When I got into floral photography, I learned how to arrange floral arrangements. I still do it on occasion and minimal occasions, but it's a relaxing hobby for me. Much as photography is a relaxing hobby for many, many, many people. But it was something I wanted to learn. And I do often not get a chance to partake in the community schools due to the fact I teach at them. But it's a great way to go out and learn and meet your neighbors, meet new friends. And I'm often quoted for my first assignment in my course is you have to take a self-portrait of you doing something you love. Half the challenge for them is figuring out how to take the photo. The other half the challenge is I make them think about themselves. It's deemed the hardest assignment they are ever given. And I leave a lot of my work my homework up to interpretation, so yeah, they interpreted a lot. So that's keeping yourself inspired, and books, movies, YouTube videos, photos, artwork. Surround yourself by things that will inspire you. Well, as up until yesterday, I had the bird of paradise more or less alive sitting on my desk. It's gone now. I'm going to have to replace that with something living because I do need living things in my nature. Again, great source of inspiration. We kind of need it to live, and it can be very inspiring, even if it's cold, bleak, and white. Please die, old man Winter. Anyway, and honestly, there are days where my sole goal is I'm going to wander around aimlessly and just look for things that will give me ideas. Flea markets, thrift stores. I go through them all the time just to see what cool thing there is Because it might not inspire me in photography, it might inspire me to build something. And that might inspire me to say, I can photograph this. And it's all progression of everything is connected. Learning is just the start. Once you see the connections, it just keeps going on and on and on. And it just, when you have the connections and study something that even just piques your interest, the inspiration will come. And I know I talk a lot about photography for this, but this can apply to any medium. Whether you're writing, whether you're drawing, whether you're painting, whether you're sculpting, whether you're making stained glass, sewing a quilt, always have your little projects. Because the personal projects are what make us progress. They get us to push our personal limits because it's something we want done. It's not something we have to get done. It's something that we have to get done for us. And when taking on these personal projects, my best words of advice are, you are your client. You do what you want, and don't let anyone else tell you, well, no, you shouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. You're doing it that way because you want it done that way. Anyway, I've babbled on for 17 minutes now. Hopefully there's some useful tidbits in this. For a live vlog, I'm Daniel Cousins, and as always, have fun shooting. Oops, wrong button.